Malden School Committee meeting. I'd ask you first, before we begin, to please place your phones on vibrate, and if you would, please keep your conversation to a minimum. Just a couple of housekeeping details. Our next meeting will be held on Monday, January 7th, and that will be at 6 p.m. here in the chamber, January 7th, 2013. And if there's no other questions, I'd ask everyone to please rise. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask everyone to please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our veterans who have lost their life and those who continue to serve us abroad. Thank you. Clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Christensen?
Here.
Ms. Rowe?
Here.
Mr. Casucci?
Here.
Ms. DiMaria? Here. Mr. Doucette? Here. Mr. Florio?
Here.
Mr. Iavino?
Here.
Mr. Weldon?
Here.
Mr. Winslow?
Here.
Superintendent DeRusi?
Here.
Assistant Superintendent Chase? Here. Student Representative Catherine Foy?
Okay, quorum sufficient to conduct business. Our first order on this evening's docket will be the approval of the minutes. So if you would, I think everybody has the regular session minutes of November 19th, 2012. Any questions? Motion by Mr. Iavino, seconded by Ms. Doucette. Are there any other questions on the regular session minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. The regular session minutes of November 19th are adopted. Under the approval of minutes, item 2, the executive session minutes from that same day, November 19th.
Motion pending changes.
Motion by Mr. Weldy, seconded by Mr. Winslow. Discussion. Mr. Weldy?
Nope, just a motion to the minutes pending the necessary changes to the details.
Okay, everybody clear on that? A couple technical changes to the minutes. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody here opposed? The ayes have it. The executive session minutes of November 19th are hereby adopted. If there be no objection, we will now skip to the superintendent's report, item 1, Malden Reed's presentation, which will be rolled in, I believe, by Ms. DiMaria. Any objections? Chair hears none. Ms. DiMaria.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am a proud member of Malden Reed's within the community. It is a wonderful organization for the third year, and tonight we do have a presentation by Malden Reed's. We have Osa Swab, and we have Liam and Jake that would like to come up to the podium and present to us.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good. Okay, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Christensen, members of School Council, and Malden Reed's participants. We are here to share some information about Malden Reed's 2013. My name is Jacob. I am a 4th grader at the BB School.
Welcome.
My name is Liam, and I am in the 5th grade. This is Miss Schwab, and we are going to ask her some questions about Malden Reed's. Let's welcome her onto the stage.
Okay, question 1. What is Malden 2013 Reed's 2013 about? We know it has to do with reading a book, but what else?
Well, this is the third delivery of the one-book programs that Malden Reed's is participating or planning. And this is an effort to build community through literacy, which will encompass a series of events inspired by this year's book selection, Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. The events will draw from the book themes that are relevant to Malden. Some of those themes are local Native American culture and history, nature, creative expression like cartooning, storytelling, drumming, cooking, etc. Resilience in the face of challenges, challenges such as bullying, alcoholism, poverty, disabilities, and tolerance, and cultural identity. We know Malden benefits from that. We are a diverse community.
Is everyone supposed to read Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian? I started reading it and it seemed a bit too sad to continue. But then I heard that it was good at the ending, so I might consider reading it again.
13-year-olds can definitely read the True Diary book. My brother Sam did. He's 13. He really liked it. Personally, I liked Eagle Song. It was pretty good.
Well, in answer to that question, Liam, yes, adults are encouraged to read Alexi's book, but we've also selected 3 companion books, as Jake alluded to. They're all written by Joseph Brucock, and he is a critically acclaimed author of 120 books for children and adults. And his books have been used extensively in schools around the nation. And they help kids explore cultural identity, cross-generational relationships, leadership, bullying, self-worth, and tolerance.
What kinds of events do you think we'll be interested in?
Jake asked what kind of events these kids and other kids might be interested in, okay? So we know what the adults might do, but, since it is voluntary, as we did last year, Malden Reads will work with the school librarians and principals to offer several curriculum ideas and materials to be carried out by the teachers who wish to participate. Those activities will take place in school and be run either by your own teacher or an art teacher or the librarian, depending on the activity. This year, however, teachers will have a full month to fit in an activity or so if they want. We are calling March the month of Malden Reads for Malden schools.
If the teachers don't have to do it, does that mean I might not get to do a Malden Reads in school activity?
Well, since it is voluntary, we can't force the teachers to be part. We know they work hard, though everything will be prepared, materials gathered, and ready for them to run with. But we know they have lots on their plates. So, but you will also have the opportunity to read the books in your school library or at home. In addition, there will be tons of after-school activities for kids your age that will be taking place in Malden.
Like what?
Well, one example of a school activity you can volunteer for is to read some companion books to infants, toddlers, and preschool kids. This opportunity will be co-sponsored by the existing Raise a Reader program. You may also have the opportunity to design your own book. That was actually your idea. And there will be many other school-wide activities, not to mention a wonderful opportunity for cartooning that will be available for kids of all ages.
What about high school kids? My brother's in 8th grade. What kind of Malden Reads in-school activities would be cool for him or other kids that are even older?
Excellent question. Some of the activities we will provide can be tailored to various age groups. For example, we have one activity that allows a student to keep a diary entitled Absolutely True Diary of whoever the person is. They will be encouraged to keep this even during the whole month of March, and perhaps read it in school or at a public event.
Liam and Jake, it's mine.
Liam's.
Oh yeah, it's mine. When do the events start?
Events will span January through May. The school month activities will be, as I said, in March. during that month, during the previous month in February, we'll have a kickoff event, and the closing event will happen sometime late spring, to be determined.
Well, that answers our questions. We turn it over to Ann Durso Rose and Jody Zach, co-coordinators for Malden Reads 2013, for any final comments. But before we leave, we have a question for the school committee. Are you going to read the book, and will we see you at the opening event in February?
I think on behalf of all the members, unequivocally, yes, we'll be there, and we'll read it.
Let's give it up for Miss Schwab. I give up. Let the reading be with you.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank
Welcome.
you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the school committee. We are thrilled to be here. This is the third year of the program, and we really want to thank you for your partnership with the program and embracing this in the schools. This is the children so well described. This is a program both of promoting literacy and also of building community. And over the last 2 years, we've been able to do that, and we're looking to really build on the program this year.
And we just want to stress, too, that all of the books that we give many books to the schools, and they're all provided for free to the schools because we're raising money in the community. So many, many people have donated to the program, and it allows us to provide books and curriculum and materials, as well as to help promote provide the materials to promote the events and so forth that take place. So we're very glad to begin our third year of Malden Reads, and again, we really thank you for your support. And now we're going to give each of you a copy of the main book selection for adults, as well as a copy of all the companion books.
Okay, before we do, first want to open it up to any questions so far about the presentation. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Because I do believe, do you want to do that now? Okay, we'll do this first. If I could, just from the chair, I think on behalf of everybody here, we want to say thank you to you. Our city is only as good as the people that are in it, and you are those people. I look at the two students who made the presentation earlier, and if it wasn't for your organization coordinating this effort, those students might not be here this evening. So, I can't say thank you enough on behalf of all of us for doing what you do, and for my colleagues, the book is excellent, as they always are. It's an
Gary
easy,
already read it.
Easy read.
They're already.
Very. It's an easy read, but a very powerful message. Sometimes we get caught up in what is going on a daily basis, and then you read this book and you see what these students were up against on a daily basis, and it's a reminder, of sometimes how good we have it. So, again, thank you, congratulations, and we look forward to working with you over the next several months to make this a reality. So with that being said, if there's no other questions, the school committee will be in a brief recess.
Could we give out the books and take a photo
Sure.
first?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Committee will be back in session, and we were so inspired by Malden Reed's presentation this evening that the school committee has prepared a proclamation in recognition of their superb efforts that will now be read by Mr. Weldy, Vice Chair of the school committee. Mr. Weldy.
Well, I'm proud on behalf of the committee to be able to present Malden Reeds with this proclamation. And believe it or not, 3 years ago, we gave our very first proclamation as a school committee to Malden Reeds. So it's appropriate that we have one for you again tonight. It says, Proclamation to Malden Reeds, One City, One Book. On behalf of the citizens of the City of Malden and the Malden Public Schools, congratulations on a successful second year of Malden Reeds in our community. We look forward to strengthening our relationship this third year through programs and active participation. Programs like this benefit the people of Malden and promote what makes us great, collaboration. So on behalf of the entire school committee and the chairman, we sign this proclamation and we're happy to present it to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Weldy. The next order of business, now back to the agenda, we're going to go to public comment, which is item 2 on the docket. If there's anybody here wishing to speak during public comment, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Marguerite Gonzalez. I'm president of the Malden Education Association. I represent everybody working in the schools up to principals. I'm here, and I'm speaking on behalf of my membership. I'm here tonight. Oh, good evening, Mayor, and good evening, School Committee. I'm here tonight to ask for your help. We have had several years of wonderful collaboration. Our union and your body has worked together on bringing in a new evaluation system, hiring a new superintendent, working on the days of observation. I want to continue those kinds of working relations. However, I have an insurmountable problem that I can't resolve on my own, and I am at a loss of words of how this problem could have gotten to this extent. I thought you had this letter at your home because it may be still coming, but I asked Ms. Weiss to put this in your packet tonight. This letter is a very, very serious letter, and I seldom have to call the MTA, my state association, into our local matters. But I have exhausted all aspects in every avenue that I know because this is such a serious issue. On Friday, some of my members with children, with no longevity, some of the newer members, newly married, with mortgages, school loans, got checks as low as $200. A chunk of money was taken out of their paycheck, unbeknownst to them, without any warning that their check would be reduced by, well, let me see, we've had 15 paychecks, maybe 14 weeks of retirement. That is a significant hit at any time, but it is particularly, really hurtful and a hardship for my members at this time of the year. Among the emails I received, one was from a single mother with 2 children. She doesn't have enough money to pay her bills. Now, one might say, if they looked at their checks, they may have seen that retirement wasn't taken out. But I have worked in Malden for 40 years. I have always trusted the people in payroll in the city to pay me correctly. I have no reason ever to expect them not to. And I do check my check because of my role as the president. I am not blaming any of the clerks. I am not blaming the administrative assistants. In fact, I do not know who to go to now. What you see in front of me is not, this is what I collected this morning. The rest of them, I have about 100 emails. There are at least 200 checks in here with all kinds of errors. And this is just from this past week. I didn't ask them for all their pay stubs. I come to you because this is unconscionable. It is also illegal. And that is why I want you to know, this is not about you, this is not personal. That is why MTA has written this letter to all of you and to our mayor, asking you for this information. I am hoping that we do not have to come to this as a legal battle. I much prefer that somebody sits down with me and helps me find a resolution. Among things that could have been done was that somebody could have alerted my members, and if you wanted me to, I would have had I known, weeks ago, months ago, and said, look, we're having a problem with our payroll conversion. Start saving X amount of money out of your check because we will be taking it at a later date. You can imagine to find your check $400, $500 short. Now, I do appreciate the fact that the city felt that this was a good idea to do it now because longevity checks come out. 30% of my members have no longevity checks. They haven't been here 10 years to earn that check. To further this problem, we're not even sure that our health insurance premiums are being taken out correctly. Our 402Bs were not being taken out correctly. Some of my members don't know what their right check is. So they didn't even send me this. They sent me emails saying, I don't know if it's wrong because there's something different every week. I have never, you know I don't come up here and posture because I really believe in you as a body. I have had no issues with working with you, or the superintendent, or you, Mayor Christensen. Sure. I know your work is honorable and you care about us. You are the stewards of the schools and the people who work in them and those wonderful children that you watch over. I do what you do. I am the stewards of the people that work in those schools. They come to me with these questions. I am at a loss. Again, I'm not a new person here. I know many of you personally, and I've been getting a paycheck in Malden for a long time. I have no explanation for this. But I'm bringing them to all of you because I have never known any of you not to be approachable and not want to hear what I have to say. You know I sit there, school committee after school committee. I don't get up on this mic to posture. You don't need to hear my voice. I didn't call the troops out to embarrass anybody. I came myself bearing all of this because I need you to do whatever it is. I need you, Mayor, to make this right, to make my members whole. I never want to get an email from a mother teaching in our schools with no money to pay her rent. That is just not right. And of course, it's Hanukkah, and in 2 weeks, it's Christmas. This wouldn't have been good at any time, but my members are so upset, I can't even tell you. I thank you for listening to this. I'm going to present, these are the only copies, but I know I can get more, and I didn't even bring the rest. This is just what came in today. At the very least, why wasn't I warned? Why weren't they alerted that they might have to pay all this retirement money in one check? Why was there no communication? I didn't have a message to give them, and now I come to you because I don't have an answer for them. I seek you because I trust you. I trust this mayor. I trust this superintendent. I trust you to help me with this and to find out what is wrong and how am I going to make these members whole. I was hoping maybe it was a mistake and that they were going to get a check before Christmas saying, oh, we're sorry, that was a mistake. But I'll tell you, this is a mistake. This is hundreds of mistakes. So thank you for listening to me. I normally would not go public, but I don't know where else to go, literally and figuratively. So I'm going to give these to Dr. DeRosie now. Thank you for all you have done with me, for the people I work and represent with. Thank you for what you do for the children every day. Thank you. This is a thankless job sometime. My job is too. But this is wrong on so many levels. Very, very wrong. Thank you and happy holidays.
Marguerite, you can give those to me. I will take them. And I know we typically don't respond during this part of the meeting, but I will, as chairman. And let me first say to Marguerite and the membership that I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I take full responsibility for what's happened. This has nothing to do with the members here tonight. If anything, they have been advocating on a daily basis to, try and get to where we all want to go. This purely rests with me, and I will make it right. You have my word.
Thank you, Gary, and I trust your word and for taking responsibility. Just make it right, and I know you will. I know you will.
You will have my full attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Anybody else for public comment? Anybody else wishing to address the school committee this evening? Okay, we'll close that part of the meeting. The next order of business is the superintendent's report. We already dispensed with item 1. We're now on item 2, which is the superintendent's report. Dr. DeRosie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have just it's a brief update on a few things. As you are well aware, we've been working with NESDEC on a realignment audit for the district. I'm glad to say that the NESDEC team is on the ground full force. They have already completed several rounds of interviews with selected members of the Malden Public Schools, and they are ready to move towards working an interview schedule up with school committee. So we are 100% deep into the process, and in discussing with the men and women on the ground from NESDEC, I do believe we will, with confidence, they'll meet their timelines, and we will have something to discuss in the January meeting. So again, I know the school committee has already got back to Dr. Chase and I about the setting up of interviews. It's a little uniquely different for the school committee because we can't do it all at once. Open meeting laws, we have to do it with smaller groups. So we are on the ground and ready to do that. Number 2 is a district capacity project. Way back in September, I had announced that Malden would be putting in a proposal to work with the Rennie Center on labor management. Proud to say that Malden was one of 8 school districts out of 93 to be selected to enter into this work with the Rennie Center. We have a team of 6 people who have already met, I believe, 5 times. We've already logged 1 full-day PD professional development with members of the Rennie Center to launch this, as well as we've had 5 meetings in district. The team is comprised of the union president, Marguerite Gonsalves, school committee member, Adam Weldi. We have a teacher, Kate Greco, community liaison, Nick Catogio, and a house principal from the high school, Marilyn Slattery, and myself. We've been involved in this project. As a matter of fact, I sent out to that team today our work plan for the up-and-coming year, which I will be more than happy to bring to the next school committee meeting. This will be part of a monthly update. And we will most likely, as part of the work plan, be looking to expand this group. So people will be getting an invitation to attend some bigger meetings as we begin to look at bringing exactly what you see here, a union president, a superintendent, the chair of a school committee,
more coming together, looking at how we can work together with interest versus, that constant back and forth tension between management and union. So I can speak for myself. I think the last meetings have been really beneficial. We have a phenomenal facilitator and coach that will be with us for 2 years of this project, and I have a very strong feeling that the work of this team will begin to really branch out into the district and give us, you will hear this term, we are working towards creating a culture of dialogue, where people come together to meet, to talk, to resolve, as opposed to come together and focus only on positions and not interests. So I'm excited by this work. Just some, school news. I want to really, a special thanks to the BB Ferryway and Salemwood. These schools participated in the holiday parade. It was nice to see their involvement. I'm looking to expand that to all the schools next year. I think it's a great little community event. It builds a sense of pride, and the schools need to be seen at that. So thank you, BB Ferryway and Salemwood. Congratulations to the student and staff of the Linden STEAM Academy for their students' performance on their ANET achievement scores. Now, the Linden STEAM Academy students outperformed many of the local districts and charter schools in our area and placed high when compared to students statewide. ANET is an agency that Rich Bransfield took advantage of. They presented their ability to come in. ANET develops assessments linked very closely to the Common Core. Funded through Race to the Top. Again, the Linden School, being somewhat of an innovative body, jumped on this. And they are developing a really strong data room at the Linden School where you can look at students' data with regards to now ANET achievement scores, Bay State reading scores. They are really putting student data to work. And it's a great thing to go in and see, because every student is represented with a code. You don't know who the student is, but they're tracking progress, and they can honestly match what's going on in the classroom directly to student performance. I'm excited about the work they're doing. But the Linden students and teachers deserve to be recognized because they came out top in the state. So I'm pretty much pleased. The BB School is currently working with our high school guidance director on securing a grant to fund character education programs at the BB. Now, if you remember the last school committee meeting, we had several presentations. Youth risk survey data came out. We talked about the new state early warning system. A focus is beginning to shift towards the whole student, character education. And several of the programs, as I said that night, under Mayor Christensen with a youth teen center, there is a focus on this idea of the whole student. Character education is, I believe, sometimes lost. But hats off to the BB and to our director up at the high school. They're coming together to look at hopefully writing a grant and bringing in some character education at the BB. The high school, Malden High School students performed and supported the Learning Forward National Conference on Education, which was here in Boston last week. Through the efforts of Principal Brown, who was on the host committee for the conference, we were able to showcase the Malden High School chorus. Several dance teams performed for the audience, and they had students. I attended a luncheon there, and when you walked in, it was Malden High School students assisting people from all over the country to find their rooms, to go to breakout sessions. It was really, again, it's a great way to showcase the good work that we do here in Malden. Number 4, budget update. To December 12th and 13th, 12th is my leadership meeting with my principals and a few cabinet members, and then on the 13th is the directors meeting run by Dr. Chase. We created a budget template for the first time. My focus is to make this budget more collaborative. So the budget template will go to every principal, looking at their building, what was provided to them this year for specific line items, and then they are going to sit down, look at their own needs, and project a 2014 budget out. A separate sheet will allow them to project towards staffing needs. My goal is to introduce this to them this week, Wednesday and Thursday, ask for this back to me before the holiday break, winter break, and then this will give me a a lens to begin to really craft a 2014 budget, starting in January, because I'll have their needs in front of me, I'll have their staff needs in front of me, and then we can begin to do the work of again, this idea of collaborate, bringing people back to the table and saying, okay, this is what you asked for, justify this, I question this, how can we get to this? And hopefully by the end of January, I will have crafted a very tight FY14 budget moving forward. So I think it's the beginning of really what I'd like to do is more collaboration around a budget, not just coming out of central office, but really having the voices of both the directors and the principals who have to live with this budget so that the school committee will have it in front of them. And when we do go into subcommittee meetings on budget, it'll be more information driven. Contracts, we are still right now working with the administrative assistants, and I know we have another, and I look to Mr. Weldyke, because I know he's on the subcommittee for negotiations, I believe, this Wednesday. So we're moving forward, and so is Mr. Iavino. We're moving forward with the negotiations there. We brought them a proposal, and we're waiting to hear back from them. So, in short, that's a quick synopsis of where we've been since the last meeting.
Thank you, Superintendent DeRusi. Questions of the members? Mr. Winslow.
I'm just wondering if, as part of the budget update you're doing, would we have a mid-year update on this year's fiscal budget being prepared at all or being made available? That would be good.
If that is a request, I can make it happen.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe that would be a good, maybe the budget committee should meet in January when that gets together and maybe even follow up a little bit on this payroll issue to make sure that's resolved in a manner that would be a couple
No
of
problem. We
things,
can do that, a mid-year report.
Thank you, Mr. Winslow. Any other members, questions of the superintendent's report? Mr. Weldyke?
Just a quick comment, and I guess almost a request for Dr. Drusi and the chairman, is it might be nice if you could get some sort of a simplified version of what the mid-year potential cuts coming down from the federal level would look like for Malden, and maybe have that something, up on the website so that people can see in basic details, because I know, you had mentioned that it's not going to have a major impact, hopefully, on Malden Public Schools in our situation. So maybe to, dissuade public concern, we could get a little simplified version of what that might look like and put it up on the site for people to be able to access.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Again, like, as I just stated here in the piece of the document I handed you, I mean, we're looking at the cuts. You have circuit breaker, you have transportation, you have McKenty-Vento. Any cuts coming down right now will have a limited impact on FY13 budgets. It will play out next year more. But I can definitely put a little synopsis together and just put a paragraph or two. Either that or I'll put it in January's newsletter, because I have December's ready to come out. So I'll put that into the newsletter, a budget update with regards to the commissioner's cuts and so on and so on. No. But as I said, in a quick analysis, we're looking at, no one likes to see the idea of circuit breaker being cut, but the transportation, that's not a big cost to us. And the McKenty-Vento really goes back to the city. So right now, those cuts that laid out should not impact too many districts in this current fiscal year.
Second, Mr. Weldyke. Awesome. Thank you, Superintendent. Anybody else on the superintendent's report? If not, we'll move on to item 4. This is the subcommittee reports, and there are 3 items under this topic. The first is the Superintendent Evaluation Subcommittee meeting. This will be spoken on by Mr. Winslow.
Yes, if you recall, at our last full meeting, everybody received a copy of the evaluation forms for FY 11-12 for the superintendent, as well as the ones for this fiscal year, FY 12-13. We were looking for comments on those. Having not received comments, the committee voted to recommend that those forms be adopted by the school committee as our evaluation forms, and that then the committee proceed to do a preliminary evaluation that would be brought to the full committee probably in January. So.
Okay, questions of the members? Okay, so is that in the form of a motion?
Yes, so a motion to adopt the evaluation forms that.
Seconded by Mr. Iavino. So we're at the discussion stage now. Is there any discussion on the proposal? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Anybody here opposed? The ayes have it. Those forms have been adopted. Thank you, Mr. Winslow. Staying with him, the next item under subcommittee reports is Policy and Procedures Subcommittee meeting.
All right, yeah, we did meet last week to discuss the school dress questionnaire that's coming out, and hashed out that, and there's a recommendation, and it's in everybody's packet as to the basic format of that questionnaire.
Okay.
That would be distributed after the first of the year. So, so the recommendation of the committee is to proceed to have that questionnaire sent out to parents, staff, and other people interested in the community. So that's the recommendation of the committee. If Ms. DeMaria or the other committee members have any comments on that. But.
Okay, Ms. DeMaria, do you want to add anything, or?
Did we want to pull that out of order and do that now and go for deliberation on that, or did you want to just, because it's down at the end of the...
Any objection from the members if we take it up now? No objection heard?
Okay.
We'll take it up right now.
Okay, thank you. I believe everyone has a copy of the survey or questionnaire, whichever you want to call it. I do want to give a great shout out to Maria Doucette, who did a fabulous job correcting and with all the suggestions that we did get. If it is adopted this evening, it will be a one-page, front and back survey. It will go out after the holidays, the holiday break on January 2nd. It will be online. It will also be given out in hard copy, and it will also be in multiple languages. And what this actually is, and I can certainly read it to everyone, is the Malden School Committee is gathering information to help us decide whether to adopt a school uniform policy. Many public schools are implementing a uniform policy within the state and country. Schools such as Lawrence, Springfield, Taunton, Fall River, and Revere have moved forward with this concept. Research shows that school uniforms support a safe and disciplined learning environment. So we are gathering information at this level, and on behalf of the exploratory committee that has been working diligently. I believe we've had 4 meetings. Mr. Ferrio, Ms. Doucette, Ms. Cabral, myself, Mr. Casucci. We came up with this great survey, and would like to get approval from the committee to get this out to the guardians and parents and staff and anyone who would like to fill it out. Okay. The next step, if we do get approved, is prior to our next school committee meeting, which is January 7th, we would like to offer to the community an open forum to come and share their comments, and positive or negative, and then we go from there. So this is just the first step in many. So, thank you.
Great, very well done. So there you have it from Mr. Winslow and Ms. DeMaria. Questions of either of them? Any questions? If I might, just from where I sit, I've been able to watch all the back and forth, and I do want to commend you all. It's been something to watch. I know you put a lot of hard work and dedication into this, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So compliments to you all. So there are no other questions. There is Ms. Doucette.
Also, I'd like to add that at the public forum, if possible, I'd like to present a short, very short, maybe 10 slides presentation on the benefits, showing statistics, so that if the parents do come to, or faculty do come to the meeting with any concerns, some of the information up there will be, may answer their questions, so they'll be invested.
Yeah, I think we would leave that to the organizers. You know, as you plan the event, you know, we would leave it to you as to how it would be orchestrated. Again, from my perspective, I think you've been doing a great job behind the scenes preparing this for further discussion. So if there aren't any other questions, you know, I think we would leave it to you as to how best to coordinate the forum. So thank you, Ms. Doucette. We had a motion, but I think Mr. Winslow was seconded by Ms. DiMaria. Do I have that right? Mr. Winslow?
Yep, sure.
Okay. Any other discussion? Everybody knows where we're going here? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Next order of business. That's it for the policy and procedures report. The final item under subcommittee reports is the realignment committee, and Mr. Waldeck will speak to that.
Actually, I think I will pass. I know that Dr. DeRusi gave the update that would have been given, which is the NESDEC is here, they're on the ground, they're in the middle of their operation, and they plan on meeting with the school committee within the next week. And after that is when I know that our realignment committee will get together with the NESDEC team and Dr. DeRusi and be able to hash out some of these results. So we look forward to seeing what they come up with.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Waldeck. Any questions of Mr. Waldeck? Hearing none, we'll now go to deliberations, item 5 on the docket. And the first item is the Malden High School Ski Club trip. Mr. Marks, and I apologize if I had seen you back there, I would have taken that out of order.
I got to correct those all night long, so don't worry about it.
All right, fair enough.
Malden High School ski trip, same as before. I think everyone got the paperwork, the hour, the time. We leave on Friday, the same trip as before, Friday, January 10th, stay to the 11th, and come back the 12th. It's Sunday River. We're going with Peabody High School, as we have for 12 years now. Mark Metropolis, he'll bring approximately 10 to 15 chaperones. There'll be myself, Miss Campbell, the science teacher, and Miss Craven, the guidance counselor, and maybe one more a chaperone. And we have approximately, I wait to see if there's enough kids for the trip. I've got 27 signed up. I'm ready to go. Most are fully paid, so. And just await your approval. It's the same stuff as before. Here's the Sunday River ski trip rules. We stay in the dorms. There's 2 wings down here and 2 wings up there. Peabody High School is up there, and we're down here. The students are all in their own rooms. It's about 6 to 8, and I tape the doors. So if the door opens, they have to come to Mr. Marks and bang on the door. Otherwise, there's repercussions for that, so we know if they've come out or not. And that's roughly about it. I mean, it's the same trip as usual.
Okay, questions of the members? Mr. Waldeck.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Marks.
You're welcome.
For this and for volunteering to do this every year. Just the same comment as years prior. I think this is great. I hope you get enough kids to make it go through, although it looks like you already do.
Yeah.
And just a note that I hope we include the liability waiver.
Yeah, I have the liability waiver.
Okay.
I'll make them sign that. We're having our last meeting actually on Wednesday, is when they'll get their liability waiver and final payments due and room setups and everything else, and they get that waiver and they get hounded by me till they bring it in.
Great.
Till
Well,
the day of the trip.
as long as they have that MPS liability waiver,
Right.
this looks great to me. Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Waldeck. Anybody else? Mr. Froyo, and then we'll go to Ms. Doucette.
Yes, I'd just like to say, I'd like to thank you for all the extra things you do for, I know I work to you, and you really keep busy over there at Malden High School. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd just like to thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Froyo. Ms. Doucette.
Yep, we run extra things on the side, and I overcharge a little bit every year just to keep something in the kitty, and then I ask the powers that be, administration that be, that if there's any student that they feel or should go on, or special situation or circumstance, to let it be known to me, and we can cut a deal or cut the prices down. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doucette. Any other members wishing to address Mr. Marks?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Waldeck, seconded by Ms. Cabral. Any further discussion? And I presume Superintendent DeRusi, you recommend? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item's been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item number 2, AUP approval. This will be Dr. DeRusi.
I had it, the Malden Public Schools Technology Plan sent out to all of you to approve. I would probably motion that it goes forward to the Subcommittee on Technology and Policy. I've worked with the people in the district. We looked at this. We kind of fine-tuned it a little. It's just part of all good policies for the district to have a plan in place to secure the proper use of technology. So I would say that the next step would be get this to the subcommittee for approval on technology.
Okay, and before we move that, Mr. Iavino, for the people at home, AUP stands for?
You know what? AUP stands for, you caught me on that one, Mr. Mayor. It's authorized use.
Policy?
Policy.
Okay. All right, everybody clear on that? Thank you, Superintendent Tarusi. Now, we had a motion by Mr. Iavino. It was seconded by Mr. Froyo. And everybody clear where this is going? Mr. Winslow?
I think we have, don't we have sort of two committees going on? I just want to be clear, because I think we have a standing committee on with technology, and now there's sort of an ad hoc committee on going paperless or something like that.
Mr. Weldy,
I
let me go to Mr. Weldy. Mr. Winslow?
I didn't mean to jump in.
No, please do.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would think this would go to the Technology and Student Services Subcommittee.
The standing committee.
The standing committee. Especially as this is more of this seems to be more of a district-wide technology plan moving forward than necessarily an AUP.
Right. Any questions on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. The next order of business under deliberations is item 3, tribute to POWs and MIAs follow-up. Ms. DiMaria.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, but I am going to divert to our superintendent
Okay.
for this update.
We are full-blown moving forward on this. Again, it's on my agenda for my principals leadership team meeting on Wednesday. While at the parade, in the holiday parade, I had the opportunity to talk with Councilman Nestor, and he tends to like the idea of a vacant chair left on a stage near the flag. What we want to work out is exactly what plaque or what acknowledgement we would put on that chair. So I know that he's talking, I believe, with the Veterans, Department of Veterans Support, and I'm hoping to have this all set and ready to go with a finalized plan for the next school committee meeting.
Okay, if I could, to our clerk, if we could keep that item on the docket for January, that'd be great. Is that fine, Ms. DiMaria? Okay. Thank you, Superintendent. The next order of business, hall rental policy, Mr. Weldy.
So I guess let me begin by apologizing to the policy subcommittee. I really miss being on the policy subcommittee, but this is one of those things where I think, all of us have traveled around from building to building, and we've seen the change that's been going on, especially with the custodians shifting from the city to the school department, now that the principals have sort of the autonomy in their buildings to control when the custodial coverage is needed for specific events, when people are renting out buildings like the cafeterias and the auditoriums. I think it's time that we refer back to policy and sort of get a new and updated hall rental policy for groups who are intending to rent and use our K-8s and the high school, the non-Jenkins parts of the high school. I think, personally, I'd love to see us put something together where we can actually be able to say definitively that we'll, maybe have a reduced rate for Malden groups, maybe have no rate for school-based groups, which would be wonderful. But I think one way or another, it needs to be solidified in some sort of a policy now that the custodian transfer has been made. So I'd love to refer hall rental policy to the policy subcommittee.
And then I presume, Mr. Weldy, you would attend the meeting and give your suggestions?
I will
and
definitely attend the meeting.
All right. So everybody clear on that? Any questions from the left? Anybody to the right? So motion by Mr. Weldy, seconded by Ms. DiMaria. Question by Mr. Iavino.
Would this include setting new rates for the rentals, Mr. Weldy?
Is that your intent, Mr.
I would
Weldy?
hope so, for the non-Jenkins rentals. I think one of the things that we've been seeing consistently is the school PTO groups, especially, trying to have events in their own buildings and being charged through the roof for a rental.
They shouldn't,
on top of custodians.
Yeah, they shouldn't be charged for that because we have an existing hall rental policy.
I agree. I'm hoping having an updated one that sort of reflects the idea of the custodians being shifted to the buildings might be more effective for us to say we now have a concrete updated with the new personnel system.
You said for non-Jenkins rental, what
Well,
exactly?
because we have one for Jenkins specifically.
Yeah, we do.
So everything non-Jenkins.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and if you could, Mr. Walde, let Mr. Iavino know when that meeting's taking place.
Yeah,
I'll
pick him up. I'll make sure
I
we
know,
go together.
Mr. Iavino, you've done some work on that over the years, yeah. All right, fair enough. All right. All right, no other questions. We had a motion by Mr. Walde, was seconded by Ms. Di Maria. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. The next order of business is the MASC conference. And I'm first going to ask Ms. Cabral to spell that out for the viewers at home, if she wouldn't mind.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the pleasure of attending the MASC and the MASS Joint Conference. MASC is the Mass Association of School Committees. MASS is the Mass Association of School Superintendents, who jointly do a conference every year for professional development for all school committee members to attend. One thing I would strongly encourage is having, more school committee members attend this, because there were so many great topics that I could just not get to all of them. I've given you a report of what I've attended. I also left my blue bag at home, even though I mentioned it here. I can certainly bring it to other meetings. There's a lot of great handouts that I did receive. I couldn't get multiple copies, so there is an electronic link that I think Nancy has forwarded to everyone for you to go in and look at the material that they do provide. Also, we had the annual business meeting for the School Committee Association, and before you are the resolutions that I voted for in favor for MASC to go ahead and move forward in regards to advocating as a whole. Some of this is a wish list, if you've seen it. It's, we hope that there are some good changes that come out of it. I think a couple of these resolutions have been in here maybe 2 or 3 years in a row. They just keep pushing for it. So I will provide an update, I want to say maybe in June, as to where each resolution is. So I will do that.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, there you have the update. Any questions of Ms. Cabral? Thank you. Next order of business, we dispense, item 6, electronic school committee meetings. Ms. Cabral.
Thank you again. So one of the topics that came out of the conference is there are a couple of school districts across the state who have gone to electronic iPads for their meetings.
Sure.
What I'd like to do is start working with the superintendent's office and gathering data so that I could come prepared for the next meeting to present a plan to hopefully for us to go paperless as well. One of the things that we need to do as school committee members is we need to set a precedent, since it's our students, we're asking them to be technology literate and ready for the working world. We need to do that as well as leaving our imprint and the impact in this new paperless system. So
okay.
I would just like to open this up to the committee members, hear what their thoughts and concerns are, and hopefully come with an answer for you come January.
Okay. And if I might, actually, let's take questions first. Let's go to Ms. Doucette. All right, we'll take that into account, Ms. Doucette. Mr. Iavino.
That was my exact comment. As I look at this, there is a cost associated with this. It's either 9,000 or 28 or whatever it is, some such figure. But I think it's a great idea. But as always, can we afford it in our budget? And I would second Mrs. Doucette's comment about grant funding. If there is a grant funding, I say let's go for it. If not, we kind of, I think the teachers in the classroom and textbooks and curriculum is where it's at.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's have Ms. Cabral respond. But again, this is just the beginning, so. Ms. Cabral, and then we'll go to Mr. Weldy.
So what Mr. Iovino was referring to is there's a chart in front of you that a school district here, this is just a sample, they did a comparison as to what it cost them to do it the paper method as well as going electronic. So I'm hoping to find some sort of savings the same way they have. They found that they approximately spent about close to $30,000 in doing the paper, the postage, and the labor. And then there's charges to the programs. Also, what's not included here is the iPad cost. I think we'd also be looking at an educational discount as well. I will certainly look into grants, see if there's anything out there. I know we have Joy?
Yeah.
Okay, who's coming on board, and hopefully we can tap into her for some of that to do some research on.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Weldy.
Ms. Cabral stole my thunder a little bit. I agree. I think this is a wonderful idea. I think the amount of paper that we go through in a packet is just massively excessive, and it's such a waste. Especially for those of us who can and like to receive the stuff electronically. I feel the same way about this as I do about the school handbooks. But the comment I was going to make is that I think it's great timing that we just brought on a technology consultant. So I hope that maybe Ms. Cabral can work with Dr. Jerusi and Joyce Latulippe, because I think the only way that we would be able to justify adding something like that, adding a new piece of technology, would be if it was solely grant funded. But hopefully this is something that our technology consultant will be able to help us with.
Okay, very good. Anybody else? Ms. DiMaria?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say it's very innovative, and I appreciate you bringing it to the board. Thank you.
Anybody else? From the chair, I too am interested in seeing what develops here. I think it's a worthy enough idea that we at least look at it, and then as the members to the left mentioned, when it comes to cost, we'll figure something out if it's the direction the committee should take. So with that being said, are you asking to refer this technology, or are you taking the lead on this yourself, or what's the game plan?
I'll take the lead on it. Really, I just wanted to hear feedback as far as what your concerns may be and hopefully have an answer for you. So come January, I'll come prepared with a plan.
Okay. Mr. Winslow.
I just, as you're taking concerns, one of the things I noticed what you handed out. I mean, just there's a lot of, software and stuff that doesn't cost. So I think the hardware could be done very affordably and probably done within, savings. Hiring a company that may be here now and gone 3 years from now. I mean, it's best to, I think, keep it simple and keep to the cloud and that type of thing. So, it would be wireless. It'd be easy to all of us use. So that would be kind of my sense. So.
Okay, great. Superintendent Jerusi.
Yes, when Jen Cabral approached me with this, I thought it was a good idea to begin, even if we could just move towards securing iPads and then start to do this electronically so that as we're sitting here, it's in front of us. We could just bring up the document, we could check the document. And I know with the iPad 3 now out, the iPad 2s are more than reasonable. Apple offers several lease-to-own programs that would not be detrimental to, I think, the district. But even if we would be able to move to the idea of, I agree, Apple, the iPads have the cloud, you can store that, you can get drop boxes, which we could all access. To sit here next year, perhaps, with iPads in front of us, looking at this as we do it, I think is really, you take the baby steps, and that's why I was in favor of working with Ms. Cabral on this.
Great. Any other questions? Hearing none, thank you, Ms. Cabral. Next order of business, we've already dispensed with. That was the school uniform questionnaire. So now we're down to docket item 6, consent agenda. Anything under here? Nope, nothing under here, I'm told. So what we're going to do here, ladies and gentlemen, if there be no objection, we'll take points of personal privilege now, and then we will entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of contract negotiations. And then when we adjourn, when we come out from executive session, it will only be for the purpose of adjourning. There won't be any further votes taken. So are there any objections? Hearing none, are there any points of personal privilege that the members would like to give? I'll take them randomly. Ms. Doucette.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to wish everybody out there very happy holidays, happy, safe holidays. Enjoy your family and friends, and come back nice and rested in January for the for the continuation of the school year. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Ms. Doucette. Mr. Iavino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was able to secure an invitation for next Monday afternoon for members of Mr. Greg Hurley's AP Government class to attend the ceremony at the State House at 3 p.m. It is the official vote by the members of the Electoral College where they cast their official ballot for President of the United States, in this case, President Obama. A lot of people don't understand the Electoral College. It is rather complex, and I'm not going to get into a history lesson right here unless I'm forced to. However, it is a wonderful ceremony to witness. I've seen it one other time, and I think it's very beneficial, and it'll be very informative and a good point of discussion for that for Mr. Hurley's class. So they're looking forward to it, and hopefully either Miss Allen or Mrs. Mastromauro, along with Mr. Hurley, can attend. But that will be next Monday at the State House.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Iavino. Anybody else? Ms. DiMaria.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, everyone at BB School and throughout the community. Enjoy your vacation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. DiMaria. Ms. Cabral.
Just the same as everyone else, I'd like to wish the entire city of Malden a happy holiday season, happy Hanukkah. You know, I hope everyone enjoys the holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cabral. Mr. Winslow.
Yeah, happy holidays and wishing everybody a happy new year. I mean, there's a great slate of events that are that have been provided to us. Maybe let Mr. Weldy announce those. But many of the schools are having events the next few weeks or two. So you check with your school and the school calendars, and I think maybe Adam will give it a full update if he'd like.
I guess if you'd like means I should right now.
Mr. Weldy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a note, have a very happy holiday season. I know it's the third night of Hanukkah tonight. For those who celebrate, have a Merry Christmas, happy holiday season to all who observe, as well as a Happy New Year, and more importantly, a happy, safe, and restful winter break. And Mr. Winslow alluded to, so I guess I'll read them, but we have a lot of holiday concerts and events coming up at our K-8s and our high school, which makes this one of my favorite times of the year. But I know the Linden and Salemwood must have something, but the dates aren't available yet. But at the BB, any BB parents, the December 20th at 1:30 p.m., they have their annual winter concert. The Ferryway, December 20th as well, has a series of winter concert sing-alongs from 8 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. The Forestdale School on December 19th and 20th at 1:15 has their winter concerts. And then at Malden High School in the wonderful Jenkins Auditorium, which I should have noted earlier, we have a great policy, thanks to Mr. Iavino, a Jenkins rental policy. I should have noted that earlier. But the Todd Cole and Matt Tavares will be putting on their winter concert at Malden High School December 20th at 7 p.m., and they're doing it together this year, which will make it even better. So I look forward to that, and I guess that's it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Weldy. Anybody else? Mr. Froyo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to all the residents of Malden, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Froyo. Mr. Iavino.
I would be very remiss if I did not also wish our citizens and our students and our teachers and our faculty a happy, restful, and safe holiday season. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Iavino. And if I might from the chair, perfect segue just to let all of you know what, a really good job that you've done here the first half of the school year. Again, people don't get to see the behind-the-scenes work that you've been doing on all these policies and initiatives, but I do. And I just want to say thank you from the chair. And, I want to really say thank you, and just, we don't get to do that enough. So I wanted to use this opportunity to really credit you for your hard work and dedication. And I want to join all of you in wishing, our entire school community a very happy holiday, and we look forward to getting right back at it in 2013. So with that being said, we have a motion by Mr. Weldy to go into executive session. It's been seconded by Ms. Cabral, and it's for the purpose of contract negotiations. Clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Christensen?
Yes.
Ms. Cabral? Yes. Mr. Mr. Casucci? Yes. Ms. DiMaria? Yes. Ms. Doucette? Yes. Mr. Florio? Yes. Mr. Iavino?
Yes.
Mr. Waldeye?
Yes.
Mr. Winslow?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. We will now go into executive session, and when we come back out, it will only be for the purpose of adjourning.